farm is named after Larry Paul. He was a businessman from Horry County. He grew up here, sharecropper's son, and then his family eventually owned their own farm, built their way up, and Larry ended up building houses and becoming really successful. And so he wanted to give back and donate a lot of his artifacts that he collected over his life. There's a picture of him over there with his daughter. So at the time, our museum was in a much, much smaller building. I don't know if you guys have been downtown yet. We have a free history museum on the corner of 9th Avenue and Main Street. So big building right next to the library. So history, natural history, Native American history. But before that, we were in a tiny little building on the corner of 5th and Main. And so we didn't have anywhere to put that. But our director came up with the idea of a living history site where we dress in period appropriate clothing, use the tools, use the objects from that time period, and recreate what life was like. Because at the time that we picked, 1900 to 1955, most people living in Horry County were living like this. Now, of course, today that has completely changed. Our industry went from tobacco to tourism today. And that's the reason a lot of us are here, right? Mm-hmm. So, because that changed so much and it changed the landscape, it changed the culture of our area, we wanted to preserve what life was like really not that long ago. Because we're here in 1955, and that's not that long ago. But things have changed so much in a relatively short time that we wanted to, while there's still that living memory, preserve some of that and share that history with people who live here and people who are visiting here. So as you go throughout the farm, you're going to see, first along this row here, there's some community buildings. Those buildings would have been in every farming community, but not on everybody's farm. Everyone couldn't afford all those things. A lot of these farmers were sharecropping or tenant farmers. Some of them did own their own land and farm their own land, but a lot of them that they were pretty small farmers though. So not huge operations. A lot of family-run farms. So you're going to see the cane mill where things like cane syrup would be made. That was a seasonal activity, so that's something we do in the fall. The grist mill, where your grits and your cornmeal are going to be ground. We love our grits here in the South. There's a reason for it. A little bit goes a long way when you're feeding a big family. We have a carpenter shop and a blacksmith shop and a sawmill. And then the other community building, that there's actually some folks practicing in there right now that you're welcome to peek in and listen. I don't know how far along they are on it. They've been going at it for about an hour now. They're doing songs from the Great Depression. So they're practicing for a program on the 26th of June. Don't know if y'all are still in the area, but that is going on. You do have to sign up though. It's free, but we ask for sign-ups so that we can have a head count so people can stay business. But so the church, of course, is another community building. But as you go, there's going to be a path along the way here. There's a tobacco barn, and from that tobacco barn all the way to the farmyard where the livestock are and the farmhouse, all of that would have been on everybody's farm. So tobacco was the cash crop here, and it was flue-cured tobacco. So a little bit different growing or curing method than other places you might find in other parts of the country. So you're welcome to open doors. Just if there's a rope there, just stay on your side of the rope. You can walk through the farmhouse, you can walk through the church. But yeah, just if they got a rope up there, just peek your head in. But like you can open the door to the tobacco barn, you can open the door to the smokehouse and the outhouse. You know, there's a hole. But there's a hole. So, but you're welcome to open those. We just ask also though that you don't feed or touch the animals because they all have jobs. They're not pets. They're all working animals. So, but then yeah, you're welcome to come back in here, gift shop, and the farm will close around 4. So, so you have a little bit of time to check it out. If you want to go see the church first, if you want to go listen in on their rehearsal.
So you got your corn planted. Looks like greens or tobacco one. And I have these nifty little signs that you can pause the video if you want to read the sign, but it tells you the normal the normal cycle of raising Cain, literally. My goodness. And the bugs are prevalent in South Carolina. And the size of dragonflies, oh my goodness, they say everything's bigger in Texas, but dragonflies are huge in South Carolina. And there is the normal cycle for the gristmill. Again, you can pause the video here and check out the cycle. We'll go look at the gristmill. And what the lady said was that the cane building and the gristmill, they're community buildings. They would not be on every farm. And this sign talks about the wheelwright. Because these are the wheelwright's tools. And saws and chisels. Interesting. And of course, the blacksmith shop, because you gotta have a blacksmith. Again, it's not early American. It's lumber mill, sawmill. Giant saw blade over here. Sweet. Very sweet. Alright, let's go down this way. Of course, if I go down that way, then I gotta walk all the way back anyway. Right. It's a working, living museum. They got squash growing out there, or pumpkins or melons. One, can't tell which one it is till it gets some fruit at the end. Right on. I'm pretty certain not every farm had a fire extinguisher, though.
Oh, I bet they did.
I bet they did not.
Of some kind. They may have just used water hoses.
Water hoses, maybe.
Raising tobacco.
Oh, that's the tobacco shed.
Yep.
That's what it is. That's where they cured the smokehouse for the tobacco.
Tiny seeds, big plant.
Yeah. Here is the life cycle of tobacco. Again, you can pause the video if you want to read through it. But you plant the seeds, plant the beds, set the plants out, then plow and hoe it, harvest the leaves. And then hands of 3 to 4 leaves are looped onto a stick with a string, and then it's hung in the barn from the top down with enough space to air dry. Wood-fired heat wilts and then slowly dries the tobacco to a golden brown. Okay. And there's the corn. Now, in Pennsylvania, we say corn needs to be knee-high by the 4th of July, but this is Allen high in the middle of June, so I'm going to guess they harvest their corn before we do.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Except on the ant nib.
Plant starter boxes. Like he's working on fixing his table.
Howdy.
We're gonna put some braces on this.
Okay.
Instead of doing these like this, I want to we just put two legs on. I'm
Right.
gonna make a capital I.
Yeah.
Cross down this way, and a long one in the center. And
Yeah.
that'll
Yeah.
legs from
Yep.
over.
That'll strengthen it.
It'll be like a box then. Of course, I gotta get it okayed before we do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I got scrap wood at
Red
home.
tape.
I got scrap wood at home. I'll cut it the size. If he likes it, then all he has to do is screw it together.
There you go.
The smokehouse.
Yeah, you can open up and look in. There's some meat in there.
You got meat in there curing now?
Yep. Demonstration purposes.
Oh, yeah. There you go. What kind of meat?
Hams.
Looks like ham.
Yeah. I see ham.
Probably
It's all
ham,
ham?
shoulder, and I don't know if there's bacon or not. Some salt, salted down. Down here, compared to Pennsylvania, they do it different.
Yeah. I bet.
We soak it in salt brine, pump it, and then
Yeah.
they smoke it, and they don't keep it out in the smokehouse.
Yeah.
Right.
They slice it all up and then put it in the freezer. City ham.
Okay.
Right.
So they brine it first.
Yeah. Where here, they were, when I was watching them at the program, they were rubbing salt into it to get the moisture out of it.
Uh-huh.
Right.
More than one day at a time, just.
A little bit at a time.
That's what we call country ham.
Yes. Yeah, well, my brother-in-law, they sometimes made it so salty, like the brine that they would soak it in, and besides pumping it.
Oh, look, they caught up.
Majestic Seaport, Connecticut, and you see the old whaling ship and the braces in between it and hammocks there. I said, guys, little Welsh guys are 5'2". That's how I could fit in there on the hammock. My feet would be crunched up in there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And that, folks, is there's some things you see everywhere.
My new house I have is basically a shotgun house. There's a door in the front and the back.
We don't
Yeah.
need to go to a museum to see this.
Yeah, we do all that.
That's what my basement
we had
looked like.
one of them before. We
The old
lived in
the
Pennsylvania.
coal bin was our canning cupboard.
Yeah, we just had a basement, you know, and we had
I missed the basement, and I missed my big garage.
Jars everywhere.
Jars everywhere.
Yeah.
We did our corn just over Memorial Day because at Food Line it was 5 for $1.
Oh yeah.
20 cents an ear.
Yeah.
That's $2.40 a dozen.
Well,
You can't buy it for that.
Right.
We could go to Lancaster County and get what 2 dozen for a buck or something.
Dad would get it.
You gotta pay for all the gas to get there. Like I say, $2.40.
Well, Grandma would make a trip to Lancaster County once a month and get everything she wanted. So
I came back last night and I was driving within the speed of because I had the sassafras wood from, I don't like to transfer wood because of bugs and everything.
yeah.
More than 25 miles. And I had 2 gallons of hard cider. That was 20% on a cup.
Yeah.
And babies
I tell you what.
can
they make
screen
good
in
stuff out there in Lancaster.
baby bed.
Freeze out apple cider and you got apple jack.
Apple,
There you
yeah,
go.
apple cider, and you know the thing they're doing now is the hard cider.
Well, this is hard.
That is hard.
Hard cider is 20% alcohol.
20%.
Yeah, so I put it in the freezer, so we call it freezer distillery, and take off about a third to a half of it, and then you got apple jack.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one of those signs. And a legacy of farm to table. Alright, you ready to go see the church?
Yeah.
We were practicing some music with my guitar for 26. We're going to have songs of the Depression era.
Oh, cool.
Like 7 cents, top 40 cent meat, now and that hell's in a 4-man eat.
Herb garden.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry I missed your rehearsal.
Well, no, we were practicing until 9.
Ah.
26 in the afternoon.
Alright. Picnic table right here.
Right? I mean, I went all the way to South Carolina to find a Pennsylvania talker.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta do that. A replica of the Swamp Primitive Baptist Church.
Again, you can pause the video to read the sign.
Primitive Baptists. They didn't believe in musical instruments. They didn't use instruments. They didn't dance.
And they did not sit comfortably.
No, they did not.
Because if you got a long-winded preacher
And they did. They preached a 2-hour sermon.
sitting on this bench is not going to be super comfy.
Well, structured building though.
Yep.
This is a replica.
Right.